Welcome to In the Hole. This is Gabe Santos in the Hole. My name is Sophie Chuaniel. Gabe is, well, you're actually a scientist.
I am a scientist.
And you're an improv legend.
I'm an improv legend. They have me on Mount Rushmore of improv. No.
Yeah, the four faces.
The
it's
big
Zane
four.
Roth, Gabe Santos,
Eddie Tarr,
Milo Roth,
and Senpaikas.
Exactly.
We'll put Sam in there
five.
too. There's 5.
How would you introduce what you do today?
I think what I do in terms of improv is try to capture small, big moments. I think that's like, I do improv just, in the general kind of sense. So I do my heralds, I do my classes, but if you were to tell me, what type of improv would you love to do forever for the rest of your life, I think it would be capturing like small, big moments. I love whenever we're doing like scenes and stuff to take something as important as like a wedding and do a scene about the decision of what tie to choose or what flowers to pick. I think that is where not just comedy but interesting stuff exists. And you can kind of do whatever you want in improv, I think. You could do the big wedding and like comedy of errors style, and it's super complicated but really fun, and you do like a herald or whatever form, and it's super quick and fast-paced, but at the same time there's also really cool stuff in the in-between. The silly, small things that feel just as important as a wedding, if you're using the wedding example. And that's the kind of improv that I do and I'm interested in, because I think there's a lot of like fun, human things there. What Zane, who we're probably going to be mentioning a lot here for the people, this is my one of my improv partners. We do a lot of stuff together. Someone who I think I have like phenomenal chemistry with, and I think I just have such joy doing anything with him on stage. Him and I love to just like look at each other and be like, truth, which is like it's honesty. It's reacting honestly, but also looking for some sort of true reaction, or just like overall honesty in a moment, and just approaching that like beat by beat. So that's kind of what I try to do with the improv that I love doing. Improv came in late, but it came as like a fix for something greater, or something different rather. I started off in theater in not even high school. What's the grade before high school here in
Middle school?
Middle school, yes. So I'm also from Brazil, so this started in Brazil. I just decided to do theater in 6th grade, which is one of the grades that you would legit get it started. And I did it because my best friend at the time, I went to go see one of his plays, so I was a grade below him. And we were just kind of obligated to go, and because we just they took a chunk out of our English class or our Portuguese class or whatever, and just brought us to the auditorium, and we watched the grade above do their big performance because they had theater classes, and I watched him doing the play, do the play, and the play was phenomenal. But the cool thing was that at the end, the curtains just closed, and then he just peeked out and just said an extra goodbye, and I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to do that so bad. And that was kind of the initial bug. I was just the more that I thought about it, the more that I felt interested in doing it. So 6th grade came along, I joined the drama program, which was an after school, but it was so incredibly serious, and really I'm glad that it was, because it was, I think our director just believed and saw something in us and wanted to get something out of us that was so beyond what we could see. So 5.5 years, I think, of theater. And then I moved to the US, and in the US I was in drama club here, which is, I think it was the best thing that I could have done, because I immigrated, which also we're here in such a beautiful spot for the people in the just listening on audio. Is this also an option?
It's also audio,
just
yeah.
audio. So for the audio freaks, we're at Jane's Carousel, which is a beautiful place.
Do you want to say why you chose
Yes, absolutely.
Jane's Carousel?
We'll go on a little tangent. I chose this because this is one of the places they shot one of the many beautiful scenes of 2023. film Past Lives, directed by Celine Song, the genius, the GOAT. It's a lovely movie. It talks about immigrating or really just leaving a place behind. It talks about what you leave behind, how hard it is to say goodbye, when do you actually say goodbye, and who do you bring with you when you leave places? Who keeps parts of you when you go away? And kind of what is it like to kind of meet these people later on in life and be forced or invited to, I guess, face those kind of like versions and portions of you that maybe you forgot or lost. It's a beautiful movie. It speaks dearly to my experience as an immigrant, and I think what it meant to leave Brazil at the age that I did, which was like 16. I was coming into my own in a way, and then it just got fractured into now something completely different. And when I did move, I was like almost like a shell of who I was, and I love to speak. I think you'll get the sense of that if you talk to me for 30 minutes or even 2 minutes. Yeah, I love to talk and I love to connect with people, and the language of it all at first was such a barrier. And to have so much to say and not the confidence was such a crazy experience to have. And the first 6 months were really, really tough. And then I joined the drama club in my high school, and that's kind of like where I found a place where I could discover my voice here in this country. And it was just honestly such a phenomenal experience. But that's kind of like the next step of my journey, I guess. I did theater, I did drama club, I was in productions, I became one of the co-presidents of the club, directed a couple of plays. And then I went to college, and when college started, I came in as a pre-med. Almost no time for theater. Theater in college becomes very much a major, which then, it wasn't my major, so I didn't really do much of theater, but I still had the desire to, which I think most of us creatives do, the desire to just express ourselves somehow. I got pitched improv in the club fair that they had during orientation, and I absolutely loved it. Went to one workshop, did a scene there. They loved me, I think, or at least it felt very loving. And then I just joined the club. There was a pandemic in the middle, but after the craziness of it, I rejoined in person, and it was like one of the best things I could have ever done in college. It was totally outside of what I do for work, totally outside of the science that I do, but we always do improv and theater as a warm-up, but we never really sit with improv as a craft for real when you're doing theater. At least the theater that I did in high school. Maybe actors now pretty much do, but that's how I kind of got into improv, and I did it in college. Moved to the city for my PhD program, but also I also moved to the city partially because there's a lot of improv, there's a lot of art, a lot of creatives, and here I am. I think it proves my point that this is a phenomenal city to be in if you love art and doing art, because now I'm sitting here with someone that I met this year, pretty much, who's also a phenomenal creative in so many different aspects. Y'all, if you don't know this, Sophie is so incredibly talented. Think this podcast is the only thing? No sir, no ma'am. So it's really cool. You get to meet really really talented people, inspiring people. So yeah, that's my journey. That's a little bit of a reflection, I guess.
Yeah, improv is never really seen as the final form of the thing. I think it is treated as a warm-up or a skill, not so much a craft that can exist on its own. I'm learning now that it is only by way of a friend of a friend of a friend.
Yes. Yeah, when you get dragged
only
to
by
shows.
Meeting people. Yeah, only by way of being invited to a show. even stand-up comedy, I think, is something where I don't think people that are outside of it just go for fun ever.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm hearing that people do it, but whenever someone comes to stand-up shows, and I think I've heard people in stand-up say the same thing, they're like, how did you find this?
Yeah.
How did you come across this?
Yeah.
And improv, especially Dream Couch rotation, is an affordable, tangible way to see a live show and meet people and engage with the arts in the city. And I think we forget that it is so close, especially when we are lucky enough to be in New York. We're on the set of one of the most brilliant movies of all time. That
one
says,
of the most brilliant movies. That's correct.
I mean, it talks about like carrying identity with you once you've left a place, and how others carry your identity for you.
Yeah.
And now I get to shoot my little podcast in the same spot. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's actually like mind-blowing. That is something that a city like New York provides, which I love, and I think that's the reason why I think I've always been so drawn to this place, even when I came to visit and everything. It's, I don't know. I think it's so corny, but like you can dream an idea here and go beyond just dreaming it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It's corny, but it's true.
Yeah, I agree. I feel so sentimental about New York. When I was in college in Portland, I would think like, if I was having a really bad day, I'd be like, but it wouldn't be quite as bad in New York, because I would know that. And I guess this is true for Portland too, so maybe this isn't completely true, but New York feels so expansive to me. I decided I was gonna try stand-up, and then I did it later that week for free.
Yeah, it's very cool. I think here that's very true. I did improv in Buffalo. Doing improv under the setting of like a club in a college is really awesome. And I think one thing that I took for granted was how easy it was to actually have access to all those things. Every Monday we had workshops. Every Monday for 2 hours you get to go on stage, do improv, see your friends, hang out. Every other Friday you do shows for, we were doing it for like 60, 70 people, which was phenomenal. What a privilege it is to have people that are coming in to actually spend their, Friday nights with us. And then I graduated, I took a gap year, and all of a sudden it was so hard to be on a stage, do improv. I found ways. We have now in Buffalo Improv House, which is a phenomenal place. In New York, like you said, it's like, yes, you can do the traditional ways of you take the classes and those can be expensive, or you can take writing classes for stand-up, but end of the day, you can also just put something together and just make it happen. One of the best advices I've gotten, I've been taking classes at the Magnet, so I took their whole curriculum. I'm in the very last class right now. Just make things happen for yourselves. Don't wait for you to be invited to like a show, or don't listen to any portion of any like shadow of an ego that tells you that, oh, someone's gonna find you, someone's gonna see how great you are. I don't even think that way. I don't think that's helpful to even entertain anything like that. And that's kind of how Dream Couch Rotation. So it started as basically the two of them with this idea of doing improv, accessible, free improv, outside for the people. Just come in, hang out, super casual. We got together, they recruited me, and because of the timing of it, like you said, it was one of those things where we couldn't just go outside super quick. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of work that happens before you see some teams on stage. In my opinion, if done correctly, like you can put a team together and just go on stage, but you're gonna see that they've just put together just recently. We wanted to get our chemistry right. We wanted to understand what we like to do, what we don't like to do, what is each one of us bringing to the table. And that takes time, and by the time we were done, it was kind of winter. So we were thinking of doing shows inside. And I think that idea or that kind of feeling came at the same time I got this advice of, make things happen for yourselves. And that's when I was like, guys, let's do it. Let's really do it. And, I wasn't trying to convince anybody. I think they were all very much on board as well. So I'm not trying to say that I spearheaded Dream Couch Rotation, but I think I was very, I got that feeling and I think the push to really believe in it. I think the same way that I think Milo and Zane were already believing in it after I got that comment and or that advice, and that was one of the most like incredible things that I got. And back to I guess the point that you made, this city allows you to just kind of like make things happen, right? Like we do it here at the Rat, so we're also here not just in front of this beautiful spot, but also this is the neighborhood where the Rat, which is one of the venues that we've done these shows, is quite near. So that's also a very special place, right? Like it's the place where we just kind of like made things happen, met with a venue that's like super accessible for the creatives that are starting out. And this is like something about this place specifically where we can get people and we pack it with our friends, and our friends bring their friends who don't know us, and all of a sudden it's an audience of people that know us and don't know us, but are here rooting for a good time and waiting for a good time. I'm sure that other cities have that too. I'm sure Chicago has it, LA has it. But all I know is New York, and I'll praise and love New York for it, you know?
The community aspect is not only helpful to have community, people to bounce ideas off of or introduce you to new things or new concepts or new media or any of this, but also to build momentum. Even if there's two people that really believe in an idea, like you will never know, but you could have been the thing that tipped it over to happen, not at all even, but happen 2 months earlier, for instance.
Yeah. I agree. I will say, I think Zane and Milo, like creating and really like pushing for the idea of making and creating Broken Couch Improv, and really like believing in the idea of Dream Couch rotation, what I needed to look at improv in the way that I think improv should always be looked at, which is with little weight in the moment. When I started here in the city, every time I was on stage felt like it was the Super Bowl for me. It could be the most like casual kind of instance. It could be a jam on a Wednesday afternoon, and if I was treating it as if it was, you know, like final of the World Cup, you know, about to get the world title, like, and I had to shift that a little bit because that was not helpful to me. But I think it came from a place of caring, right? I care so much about the craft, and I think I was so eager to learn and get better that like it felt that way. And then to get that invite from Zane and Milo, and then have them really believe in the idea of Broken Couch, but also Dream Couch rotation, was such a pivotal thing for me, because then I was actually able to look at improv and truly just see improv as like, hey, it's this, it's right now, and it's the thing that we, like, a lot of people say on stage, you know, what you're gonna see here today, it's gonna be seen once, and then never again. It feels, I think we say that because it feels special to the people. You know, I came here and I'm here in this moment. It is a special moment, good or bad, it is a special moment. But it can kind of like, it cuts both ways, right? You can hear that and be like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a unique thing, never seen again. I need to make sure that that is really good, and you can stress about that. The other way to, and I think that's how I was seeing it at first, but the other way to see it, I think, is like, yeah, this is one moment in time. It's gonna be seen once and then never again, and then that's it. And then you move on to the next thing. And I think that that's the mindset that I've kind of like fallen into now. And it comes with doing more and more improv, and the more you do, the less of a final of a World Cup it feels. But it also comes with the community, like you said, with the people that you surround yourself with. Because if I was around people that were treating it as such, like it was like the most important thing in the world every single time, I don't think I would have ever gotten out of it. So I think, like you said, what you said about community is so true. I'm so grateful for the people that I've met at the Magnet Theater, outside of the Magnet Theater, Zane, Milo, Sam, Eddie. It's been, I think, such a wonderful kind of like crossing of paths that like just, it has made me a better improviser. It has made me enjoy so much of what improv I think is meant to do for the improviser. There's something about also, on top of everything, the city that we're in, allowing for all of those paths to kind of like cross here. So kind of like a beautiful thing. It's awesome to be saying all of this as we look at the city skyline. You can't see this, but we're looking at like the city skyline here, which is like a lovely, beautiful thing.
I'm currently reading Meditation for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. He also put out 4,000 Weeks a long time ago, and it was for people that are sort of caught in the mindset that every moment is fleeting and you need to optimize time as much as possible, and the thing that will fix your life is waking up at 4:30 in the morning, drinking tons of water, responding to emails as fast as possible, just moving faster and faster and faster, which gets you into a cycle of always having more to do. Because if you do more faster, there will be more after that.
Right.
So the books are helping people live in the moment. And I read 4,000 Weeks during my senior thesis at college, which otherwise would have destroyed me. I was so overwhelmed with work in school, and I was trying to love my boyfriend well and love my family well and spend time with friends that I might not see after college as much well, and it's just a lot. And this book helped me kind of come back to the moment. And the first book and this second book that I'm now starting preaches sort of what you're saying, which is it's about being in the moment, and there can be something scary in the expansiveness of the city, or knowing that the city is expansive can mean that I'm missing out on an opportunity every second, but it could also just mean that every moment is filled with opportunity. So when I can take it, I take it.
Yeah.
The practice of improv, I think, can be implemented outside of improv too.
Oh yeah. Every moment is like a fleeting moment, right? Every second is like, it's just here for that instance and then gone. The beauty of the improv I like to really work on, or like the improv that I like to do, it's very much of the school of thought of TJ and Dave, who are legends. Like we were joking at the beginning of this, of the Mount Rushmore of improv. If we're answering it seriously, I think everyone has their own different ones, but I think these two guys would be there for me. Their book is called, Improvisation at the Speed of Life. And I very much believe that every moment is just kind of like we're here. And I think in improv, we always preach about being so present, be present in this moment. And it is very freeing because I am a big overthinker in many aspects of my life. And if we're doing certain forms of improv, trust me, I will overthink. One of the hardest things to do, I think, which really separates someone who's starting improv to someone who's like has done improv for a little bit, is learning how to turn your brain off and just trust that if you're just in the moment, whatever you need will be revealed, because it's already there. Right, like what you need is already in that moment, in that environment. Your character that you're the person that you're playing already knows these things, so it's already there. What you need is already there.
You just have to release it.
It's a matter of releasing, paying attention to it, and kind of to relate it back to like bringing improv out of the stage to life. Being present in the moment and just trusting that what comes before and after is a before, it's past, or it's something later on, is such a helpful thing if you're doing a presentation. If you're just sitting with someone and having a conversation. I don't know, I feel it more than I can explain it when it comes to improv impacting my day-to-day life, but I definitely feel it. I think the more that I've done improv and studied and went through my ups and downs, the more that I have felt that the things that I learned in improv made me a better listener, a better experiencer of life. I think it helps that you're in the city, and like New York, it's genuinely like you just look to your left, and if you look for long enough, or if you just pay attention for a second, you will find something that's worth paying attention to, right? So I think that that's like the beauty of improv in that sense for me, and why I love it so much. Life feeds into improv just as much as improv feeds back into my life. The ways by which they do this, it's maybe a little bit more obscure one way or the other, but it's really cool. And anyone that doesn't do improv or stand up will think that this is just kind of like an artist, kind of like, you don't get him, and like art is so freaking dope, dude. Like if you don't, but it kind of is. Like unfortunately, like if you're on stage and you're either doing stand-up, it does feel like that. Like you should be on stage, like we're saying, we do a improv, and we like step into a world for 45 minutes, and we step into two people that like, we step into their lives, and then we just step out. It feels magical. It's like we step into it not knowing we're gonna step into it, but the second that we're in it, of course we're in it, of course we're these people, everything becomes so true, so present. It is crazy. And we can talk more about trust, which I'd love to talk about more trust as well.
I'm seeing a lot of thread lines, and like not even just the other interviews I'm having, but in life, I'm having a lot of conversations about community and what the arts is, and where you direct your focus is really important. So in a large scale in life, like if someone has this itch, because I I also said this in a previous interview. Creativity to me feels like an itch that you need to scratch.
Yeah.
And it's just getting the satisfaction out of something that you very internally, you just feel an overwhelming urge to do. And then also not getting overwhelmed when there are too many things to focus on. Because like you said, in New York, you look to the left, there could be something there. My gung said that to meditate in an empty room, in an empty, quiet room is one thing, but to be able to meditate in Times Square, like that is true peacefulness and true mindfulness and true meditation. And in New York, it's very easy to get distracted by, I mean, this is a good example. There's a million things going on around us.
Just starling right there, just walking. It could be flying, but it's walking. And I'm listening very attentively to you, but as you're talking about Times Square, I took a second to look around, and I was like, what is going on here? There's children on a car being pulled.
Yeah,
there is a starling right there, just walking. It could be flying. There's people walking past us, and we're having a really lovely conversation.
And there were people filming stuff like with the actual thing, and there was like a bike going on. There was a bird that I think flew right in front of the camera. There's so much going on, and there's something to be said about we need the focus to be able to talk about the thing that matters, but it shouldn't feel like effort to focus at the thing at hand. To do the right thing for yourself, I think maybe indicates that it wouldn't be too difficult to focus on. Like, we love talking about this stuff, so it's not too difficult to observe the beautiful city and the beautiful view we have and the really cute kids over there. Oh my God. And do that while also having this conversation.
These kids are they're like in cute little chains.
Oh my
like
gosh.
they're chained one to each other, and they're just like going a little ducky. They're like ducks.
Yeah.
Like calling mom.
With the little donut rope. All that to say.
All that to say.
Yeah, all that to say. Now I am getting a little distracted.
I will say one point that you brought up. I think I've become a better observer after kind of not after, but while taking some more classes and trying to get better at my own improv. Specifically the improv that I love to do, it's true-prov. I kind of mentioned this, right? It's 45 minutes to an hour on stage, two people, and you're just kind of figuring out and discovering what's already on stage together, one moment after the other.
You said something earlier about how chemistry is important. You can tell when a group goes on stage and they haven't put in the work beforehand.
Yeah.
So I want to ask your theory on what good chemistry means. We're talking about being a better observer. Being a better observer can mean a lot of things, just like having good chemistry can mean a lot of things. So I want to know what good chemistry is to you, and I want to know how you build it, or even just how you find it, and how you found it with Zane Roth, and then you can talk about Prov as well.
Yeah, I feel a little bit of it is magic. A little bit is I'll speak to the things that are more, I think, describable. But with Zane, and even other people throughout my improv life, you do scenes together, and there's just this energy that's just kind of in between you, almost instantly. Or maybe just something in the way that you're doing a scene, but you're looking at the person and you're there's another conversation going on. Sometimes it's just sometimes it is the chemistry that we talk about in the magical sense. Just these two people, for whatever reason, when they get on stage, they just really understand each other. TJ and Dave's book talks about if you find people that kind of in that sense are a match, stick to them, because there's something special there, right? But that doesn't mean that that's the only way you can achieve good chemistry that's going to give you a good show, right? Or a good experience when you're practicing or doing improv or doing whatever you want on stage. I think a lot of it is understanding. A lot of what we did with Broken Couch was understanding the language of each other and what we like to do, what we gravitate towards, how our brains think. I love a slow, kind of paced start. I do not like the pressure of having everything figured out and established within the first 30 seconds of a scene. I love finding out slowly who we are, where are we, why are we here, is there what's between us that's happening here. I love that because it takes the pressure out of the improviser, and the only thing you need to do is be present. The only thing you need to do is just look at your partner in the eye and just react honestly one moment after the other. That doesn't happen, and that doesn't work all the time with every single form, but it is how I gravitate. That is like instinctively how I do it. Other people love to get the basics out. I need to know where I am so I can feel settled into my space and then can explore and play. Understanding how you think is really important. And doing scenes and then sitting down and being like, I didn't understand when you did this. Or I thought you were going for this, but you went for that. What happened here? Did I misunderstand? What am I missing? Having those types of conversations and actually understanding the way people think is so important, I think, for chemistry. It won't be the thing that cracks it. Just doing that I don't think is enough to make a group click. You also need to like the person. Try doing improv with someone you hate. It doesn't work. You can be I'm sure that there's been groups in the history of improv that hated each other and are dynamite on stage, but I don't know. I think that chemistry is something that there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of work, a lot of curiosity, and I think the biggest thing, which is trust. I trust Zane implicitly. I will go on stage knowing that I can say every single incorrect thing, if there is such a thing, and Zane will be there. Zane will show up. Zane will discover whatever I'm failing to, let's say. That is trust. That is so important, and I hope and I think that he probably feels the same way with me on stage as well. You feel anxious, you feel a little butterfly, like butterflies in your stomach before you go on stage. When you do any type of improv, I think that's true. And if you don't feel like that, even a little bit of a tingling sensation of nervousness, of anxiety, then maybe you need to go and do something that does. That feeling, I think, is super important. But I think even though you feel that is not debilitating when you have trust in someone. I still feel that way before going on stage, even with Zane, but I know that it's going to be fine. I know that. I have not yet done a scene with Zane where it did not work to a point of this is the worst thing I've ever done. Even if it is one of the worst scenes that we've done in the grand scheme of all the scenes, I don't think it would ever be a failure. I don't think being on stage with someone you trust will lead to a failure. It can lead to bad scenes, but it can't lead to failure. And that's something I believe. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of chemistry is also belief in belief in the magic of it, I think. I don't know. I'm coming up with this answer as we go along.
No. I
but I think I'm just kind of going off of feels. But
I think faith plays a really large role. Zane and you both separately have talked about knowing that the other person will support you. Yeah. Sort of like all relationships. I think there was one show and he was like, Gabe completely carried me. Completely fixed everything. I don't see you as someone who believes failure could happen. I think you're definitely in the world of it's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah,
there are always reasons for bad.
Yeah, shout out to Sean Shapiro for also saying something so incredible during a lunch that we had. Sean Shapiro, phenomenal actor in training at Stella Adler right now. We were having lunch at a chicken place downtown, just talking about art, talking about the stuff that he's learned. I was seeking some advice, and we were talking about that kind of feeling of every performance feeling so important that could be debilitating at some point. And then it was such an actor thing. He wasn't even eating his chicken. We were talking, the conversation was so good that we were barely touching our chicken sandwiches. But he paused for a good 10 seconds, which I love. Sean is awesome. He paused for 10 seconds and then he goes. So I had asked him, like, would you have anything regarding this, like feeling of like every performance is so important that it kind of can get debilitating. He pauses for 10 seconds and then he goes, nothing is performance, everything is rehearsal. And that to me was, it was like building up a new like pillar that supported, I think, my trust in improv and like my ability to be present in the moment. Like that's something that Zane and I now kind of like say to each other almost every time we go on stage. Listen, nothing is performance, everything is rehearsal. And I've shared this with people that are not in the arts, and they're like, I've shared this with like some surgeons and in my lab, and she was like, well, no, like when I do a surgery, it's very much a performance, it's not a rehearsal. And I fully understand, but I completely still believe that every single thing you do is a rehearsal. If you're gonna do it again, it is a rehearsal. It can be a phenomenal dress rehearsal that is equivalent to a performance, but it's this idea that your performance really will be the last time you do something. Last time you're on stage, that's your performance. That's the last final thing. That is when you're showcasing something to the point of like, this is it. This is it. And will never be anything else again. This is it. But as long as there's another scene, another show, another moment, then this is a rehearsal. As much as it feels so important and it might be, there's still more to learn from it. There's more to grow from it. So I think a scene that it's a failure, I think I agree with you when you said, like, I don't think that, like, I would see or perceive something as a complete failure. I don't think I would fail or perceive anything as failure if I'm doing improv with Zane or if I'm doing it with Milo and Sam with Broken Couch. But maybe if I'm doing improv with someone that I don't know or someone that I haven't really, like, clicked with yet, I think failure would be, like, a scene where we're just not present, we're not looking at each other, we're not listening to each other, where it just feels like we're both like, or the whole group is just kind of like individually trying to do something different. They have different kind of perspectives or approaches, or we're just not in conversation. And I think that would be failure. I think they have not had that, I don't think, but I think that would be the case for like an improv scene that doesn't work, I think. These are all things that I choose to believe or think, but do not think there are rules. This is like, everything that I'm saying is something I currently resonate with and am taking with me. And maybe we talk 2 years from now and this podcast is like, and it's like 100th episode, and I am like the guest that was just after like Timothy Chalamet, you know what I mean? But like, we'll chat again and I'm gonna have some completely different thoughts. But none of what I'm saying here I think is fact. None of what I'm saying here I think is rule. I think it's just what has resonated with me so far.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of it, I think.
There's a lot to be said about being flexible. This is very Taoist, but to be like water is the goal. I would hope that your mind would change in 2 years. I would hope that it would change in 2 months. I'm finding that I truly feel like a completely different person every month.
That's
like a friend showed me their workout playlist and there was Zara Larsson. Mm-hmm. And I go, love to see Zara Larsson. Mm-hmm. And he goes, don't switch up. And I was like, first of all, I don't recall ever saying I didn't like Zara Larsson. And I probably did. I probably said something like, she's overhyped. I don't see myself saying that, but let's say I did. Let's say I did.
Let's think of argument.
And so first of all, I don't think I said that, but two, I was like, I love switching up. I switch up all the time. I think people should switch up more. In fact, I'm extremely pro switching up politically, morally, theory on the craft that I'm pursuing at this moment. I mean, if I didn't switch up, I would be lacking so many good things in my life. So
I think I agree. I think I'm gonna say this and then let me explain. Being able to like be shifted and shaped and moved and
to be malleable.
Malleable, I think, is the only way, in my opinion, to actually like bring something really cool to the table when doing improv. Now, this is also applying to life. It's just that the conversation has been around improv. I want to be very clear.
Improv is life.
Improv is life, man.
Improv is life.
But it is, like, I think for improv, but also for like life in general, right? I think I love talking and understanding people because these are just perspectives that you gain so much as a person, right? Like, not being afraid to understand someone is the best thing that I believe in this, like, fully. I think, like I said, most of what I say is just things that I feel, resonate with, or think are true in the moment. One thing that I think forever, and I hope I forever believe in, is not being afraid to understand people, even people that you don't like, that you think are horrible. Understanding people is really important. Important for you, important for your relationship with other people, and important for improv. But yeah, like, I mean, I try to play characters that are not one note, characters that are two-dimensional. I love coming out of a show, have it be improv or something else, where you feel like you've played a person and not a character. And in order to play a person, you need to know more than just, this is going to be the character that is a little quirky and talks a little certain way. Like, there's more that you can explore. You don't have to, right? Like, this is just improv that I resonate with. You can do character-based, like, scenes, and they're the best, and they're a blast, and they're actually the ones that are filling up theaters and probably keeping theaters, like, open, right? There's this type of improv that I'm into is not the one that's, like, filling up stadiums or theaters, but it is what I like. But understanding people, I think, is so important, and it's having convictions in life is important, but also dangerous. Like, certain things I have convictions on, and I know these things to be true to my heart, and these are things that are related to my morals. But beyond those things, everything else, I'm open to change. I'm open to hear someone out. I'm open to understand why you think a certain way, or you see the world in a certain way. Not that I'm going to change, not that you're going to convince me or I'm trying to convince you. Just being aware of this, I think, enriches the experience. And I think this city, and just the fact that we have so many people from so many different places all the time packed into any room that you're in, really invites you to that kind of reflection, which is a reflection that I don't think I had a lot when I was in Buffalo or some other place that wasn't just like New York City in terms of bringing so many people from different places together. And I know this deviates from improv, but it does, I think, factor into the person that you are. And I think in the greater kind of like macro conversation we're having about art, I think that's, in a more selfish way, what I love about art, like when it comes to affecting me. I love that I get to meet people that have different kind of points of view, different goals. Some people do improv stand-up sketch because they want to make it. Some people do it because this is just their hobby. Some people do it because they have anxiety and they want to beat it. Some people do it because this is just their moment to, like, stop overthinking. And all of this kind of just exists at the same time, and you're meeting these people and you're putting their hats on to see, is this something that works for me or does it not work? And by trying to understand them, you're shaped into something else, and your improv or your craft changes.
I'm sure you can attest to this. We have, like, ample friends who are all in their own pursuits and in their own communities and in their own world and in our worlds. There's not a word that explains how fortunate it is. Even right now, like, we're having this conversation, and then people are having meaningful conversations all over. I think that's also part of the beauty of past lives, is they're having, like, really huge moments, like standing in line for the ferry.
Yeah. Every time you mention past lives, you're gonna have to hear me talk a little bit more about past lives. But even this, I'm pretty sure it's on this place here that they have a scene where they're having a conversation. I think it's actually directly behind us. In front of us, behind the camera. Yeah. They're having a conversation, and there's a couple behind them kissing. This is one of those moments in the movie where I'm like, sometimes you just, like, notice the people in the background a little bit too much. Yeah. And I actually love it because it's just a couple, like, kissing and having, like, this, which I think it's a beautiful contrast to, like, what Nora and Haesong are not having. It's kind of like almost like what it could have been in a different life, and what they have here in the moment.
This is also, I think, the beautiful thing about New York. Like, you'll be having a fight in public, or you'll be like on a call that's like devastating, and then there's like a kid walking their first steps because you're in the park. I think there's something very necessary about being one of 8 billion people in the world, and being one of, I don't even know how many people are in New York, but like being one of many is really crucial. And I don't even mean in the sense that I was saying this earlier. I don't listen to I'm very picky about what media I consume when I'm not feeling well, because I want to make sure that I'm not encouraging. I want to make sure that I'm not like, I can't think of the word right now, but sort of like soothing myself in my feeling. I don't listen to the news expecting the contrast to make me feel better. I don't need to feel all of the people so that I can like place myself on the ranking of people. It's to feel a part of it and to feel separated from it all.
One of my favorite lines in Fleabag. This is interesting. Have you seen Fleabag?
Amazing.
Fleabag's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's having that dialogue at the bar with that lady that got that prize. It's like that it was that woman. She was like a little bit older than her, and she kisses her at the bar, and then she's like, no, thank you, or like, oh, this is not it, whatever. And then they're having a conversation about just a bunch of things, but she ends by saying, people are all we've got. And I truly do believe that. I think that's, that's one of the pieces of like media that I've consumed that's stuck with me a lot. And I think that a lot of times, whatever you need comes from people. The exit out of a hole, wink wink, in the hole, or just out of a slump, it's people. It could be as simple as an advice you seek from a friend, someone just standing there. Or just someone to look for inspiration. Having met so many people here that are in different pursuits, and I've said this before with like Zane and Milo inviting me to be a part of the group Broken Couch, when they did, was such a pivotal moment, I think, to me in my improv journey. And it's, take everything out of it. Take the shows, take the audience, take the laughter. It's the people, right? I'm curious, because we've talked about past lives, and obviously past lives is something that has like resonated and really like stayed with me as a piece of media. We've mentioned Fleabag. We've talked, I think, briefly before. I have a poet I absolutely adore, which is Buddy Wakefield, who has this quote, which is, I'm not afraid of understanding you, which is a part of his, like, this beautiful poem called A Choir of Honest Killers. Phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't listened to it, read it, it's beautiful. There's a bunch of different media. I'm curious to you, what's like, if you had to like have like a piece of media that has impacted you as much as like past lives has impacted me, what would that be for you?
Just off the top of my head, because that gives it lightness, because I think I told you this at the end, I'll ask you to give 3 pieces of media or things to consume. And you've already been giving some really fantastic recommendations. But I ironically never picked out my own. I will say that His 3 Daughters is just a fantastic movie. I have the script on my phone. I think the opening monologues are impeccable. I think the movie subverts expectations. That's always good. I think it's beautifully written, beautifully shot, and I think about it all the time. And then Martyr is a fantastic book. There's poetry, and it also subverts expectations. I think it's important that I don't know where media is going because it helps me be more in the present with it. In both of these, I think I was like really truly hooked on every line. And then No One Belongs Here More Than You is a collection of short stories, and I think about those stories all the time. I guess my metric for things that have really shifted something in me have often been just things that I think about all the time. There's like the last short story in that collection, there's one in the middle, and I love it because the whole story is like maybe like just like a couple minutes kind of, and it's about a break-in to this person's house, and they're like paralyzed in bed, and they can't wake up their husband, and their husband and them like got into a spat the night before, and they're trying to like pulse their hand, and they're hearing the creak of someone come up the stairs, and they're thinking about the day that they just had and their relationship to their husband, and they're thinking about who this intruder is and what their goal is and what they're doing and how you can just feel their presence. And I don't know what the reason is, but I think about that all the time. Maybe it's because those couple of seconds you can run through your whole mind and your identity and your life and everything, and it really just comes down to whatever moment you're in right then. Obviously that's kind of retrospective because we're talking about being in the moment right now, so maybe that's why I'm thinking of it. But do you know any of those?
No, I don't.
You would love His Three Daughters. I think you would like it.
It's a movie?
It's a movie. You know what? I'll send it to you.
Please do.
It's really great. I rewatched it recently with Hudson and Oscar, and we all cried at the end.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not a big crier. I really don't cry for media.
Yeah.
Especially not for movies. I remember I was on a date in high school, and we watched Titanic for the first time, and I was like really trying to make myself cry because I was like, I'm a girl, it's cute, we're watching a sad movie, he's supposed to hug me when I cry, like he'll put his arm around me, like that's the whole thing, and I was like fighting to make myself cry, but I couldn't do it. I just can't cry in movies.
I'm the same. I don't really cry a lot of movies. I think the only movies I cried I cried watching Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
I haven't seen it.
It's about a shell that wants to reunite with his family.
I've seen the posters.
Oh my god! And it does not play as a sad moment, but it's like again that movie found me at a place where I was just missing my family a lot in Brazil, and I hadn't been back in a minute, and just seeing I think a claymation, like not claymation, but like it's a stop motion shell with shoes on reunite with its family really got me. But I did that, and I cried watching After Sun.
Really?
After Sun, yes. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I think it's because it caught me at a bad time.
I love that about films. It's like they either just pass you at whatever time. Sometimes they pass you at the wrong time, and sometimes they pass you at you cross paths at the exact right time, and it just like shifts and like changes something in you. And to me, that After Sun is a beautiful I think meditation on memory and perspective, and gain perspective, getting you to reassess an old one. Whoa, there's a pigeon that just flew here. I love pigeons. Anyways.
I love pigeons too. They're like my favorite animal.
They're the best, dude. One day I'll catch a pigeon.
In Maine, we have deer everywhere.
Yeah.
And to me, they're like the deer of the city.
We used to use pigeons for messages. But the problem is, you can't do that by yourself. You need someone else.
That's why people don't send letters anymore.
And I'm back on that. I'm back on that. I don't know if we have talked about this.
Well, we don't have each other's address, so we're two letter senders, and we can't even.
I need to get on that because I started sending letters to people in Buffalo.
Oh, beautiful.
Who I'd love to talk to more often, but it's just not. Life is busy.
Yeah.
I love so many people. I want to keep in touch with so many people. But there's only so many moments that you're like actively being like, oh, let me text someone. And I found that letters is a great way to do that, even if you're literally sending a letter a month.
Yeah, I think a lot of my dearest friends I catch up really truly every 3, 6, even more months, especially after
it's
school.
that weird feeling of like it's been 6 months, 3 months, but like when you get together to talk, it's like you just hit play. It's pause play, not like its time has not passed, right? Like
Yes.
there's like this connection that exists beyond the time where you're not near each other.
Yeah.
And I think with a letter, I think the beauty of writing a letter is that you have to sit down and you have to put pen to paper and you have to think about what you want to say. And that to me is, I have found to be so meaningful, and maybe more meaningful than just like, hey, how are you? How's it going? How's your week been? And just send like a paragraph about your day, Maybe you inquire about a couple things and then that's kind of it, and the conversation dies. A letter feels like you're forever in conversation, which I love. So I've been sending more letters. I'll send you one.
Yeah, I'll send you one back.
Yes,
we can correspond more.
lovely.
Because we really don't have an opportunity to catch up.
Yes, it's either...
Especially since it's normally like after a show at the
After a show,
Rat or
yes.
something. Like it is
Yes.
always amongst other activities and lots of things
Yeah.
going on, and a letter is an opportunity to really focus in.
Again, it's like that kind of like...
I mean, this interview alone has been like, it's the closest I can get to a letter actually
Yeah.
of yours. It's
Yeah.
as much of you focused as possible.
There's a book that I bought at the Strand that's called The Craft of Comedy, I think. And it's basically just a collection of letters from two people. It's like a coach. I think it's a coach and then like a guy that just knows acting and comedy. And they were like, he sent one letters because he was like a coach or a director, and he was like, this actor is not getting it. Or he's like having trouble like getting what the comedy is coming from for this character. What do you think? And then just started like corresponding. And it's a collection of letters of them basically in conversation about comedy. The idea of having a letter, write a letter, again, similar to what comedy is, it's you need to be in the moment, you need to sit down and be like, what, like here and now, what do I want to say? What do I want to talk about? And you have to, I find that I'm the most honest when I'm writing a letter. I like try not to bullshit when I'm like, sometimes in text you can kind of like, it's not that you're bullshitting, but you're like, there's a certain tone.
You can't get into it right now.
Yes, it's
so-
like a tone of like, almost like casual, something that just gets to like, you don't get to something really deep.
It's the modern version of being like, how you been? Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I ask someone, how have you been feeling in text, you're
They
probably
can't
gonna
be
you're
like-
gonna probably gonna get like, oh, I'm good. You know, life's crazy, but I'm good. Things are going
Yeah, it's
well.
a lot of, like,
but,
been busy.
But if you get a letter that's like, and by the way, how have you been? I'm gonna write down how have I been truly. And I don't know why. I don't understand why. Maybe it is the act of sitting down and having to think about it, but I found to be really cool. And also an exercise of patience, because I have to wait for the letters to come back, like a reply,
Yeah.
if I get a reply. And that to me like has made opening my mailbox every day much like more exciting.
Yeah.
So it's really cool in that sense.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Letters, I think, help because you can feel that they're there. They feel more there. And in the same thing as performance, or rehearsal as we call it, the audience can feel if you're not there. The people in your troupe can feel if you're not truly there. Even in a conversation with someone else, you can feel when someone's not truly there. And in a letter, it feels like they're there because they were there. They were there sitting and writing to you specifically.
Yeah. I wonder, so we're obviously transitioning into a crazy world where, like, especially online, we're doing a lot of like artificially generated images, sounds, videos, and to me that's the least exciting thing in the world. And it's one of the reasons why I like deleted my TikTok from my phone, was when like the Sora app came out and like half of the videos were like AI generated, and I was just like, what are we doing? Then I got out of TikTok and got out of like Twitter, like done, and I was just like, this is like, it felt so not real, beyond just how social media doesn't feel real sometimes. And I think that made me appreciate two more things. Number one, the physical things. I started buying physical CDs, DVDs, writing physical letters, and I got very like sad, deeply sad when all of this kind of like AI video generated shit started like really popping up like last year. It's been for a minute, but last year I feel like there was like this crazy boom. I was feeling depressed. I was like, what are like, especially because last year I think I was going through this kind of like rebirth in my art, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to meet people and feel connected and et cetera, et cetera. and at the same time I'm seeing the world going the opposite direction. I was made so aware of how important it was to just be present and like interact with people in real life and share art and the process of trying to make something work to your vision. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so alive. And then we're transitioning into a world where we're nipping that part of the process in the butt. I felt so sad. And I was going to a show with some buddies of mine, and they do their PhDs is on like AI and computer science and stuff like that. What they're applying it is for something that I think is phenomenal, which is like in health and science, and using the computing power of that to actually like get us some like actual breakthroughs in science and diseases, and that's phenomenal. I kind of like started to appreciate more and more live things, and I've also become aware that improv is very much that too. You need to leave your home with intention. Like, you need to put intention behind what you're doing, right? You leave your home, you put on either nice clothes or just some clothes, and you go to a theater, you buy a ticket, you sit down, you wait the 5 minutes, the lights go down, you go and you watch something on stage that's happening. And the beauty, I think, one thing that I think it's beautiful of improv is that then you go and see something that could never be artificially generated to have the same magic. And it's gonna be there that one time, and then it's done. You're not gonna come back and see it again that way, with that people, with that moment, with that magic. And I think I've grown to appreciate it, like what we do even more. Even stand-up, which is written, it's different every time, right? And it's like whatever form of art that's like live and it's happening live, I just love it so much because it is so like present. It's here, it's outside. There's like there's online shit and there's like outside shit, and I've been like trying to like appreciate this more. Granted, I'm still on Reels. I'm still watching some Reels, sending Reels to friends. I'm not above anything like that. I'm still, but whenever I can get a chance to actually actively be present, take a DVD out of my my cabinet and put it inside of the DVD player and watch a movie, or go to AMC theaters with my A-list and like watch a movie with people in a room together. I don't know, I think that like I've been more aware and like more appreciative of these things, and it has manifested mainly through improv, which is my artistic kind of like outlet, but in truth, it's, I think and I hope that we as a people transition to more live things.
I think people are craving it. I think the good side of AI in the arts is people are finding, they're trying to get back to writing letters, analog work.
Even movies, I think, like, because a lot of people were like talking about how like, no, live theater will always survive, but movies can like take a hit. But have you ever like seen a video and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then you go to the comments and they're like, oh, this is AI. And then like a little bit of like a magical sense of like your joy toward that video just kind of dies.
Yeah.
I have not, I don't know if people have felt that, but like I have felt that consistently. If there's like a video, it's like, oh, this is kind of like a cool shot. And you go and you see that this was like artificially generated, and like something dies in that moment in me, which I think it is.
I think it's natural.
It's natural. It's like something like, the reason why we love things, even if we don't understand it, is because there was someone that put that into existence. And not just that, but someone with their specific experiences, their specific kind of like pains, joys, everything had to like, that idea had to go through that person and that kind of like existence and perspective to then become this thing that now you get to see and be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then when you take that out of the way, to me, there's like a magic that you can palpably feel die. And I think that, and I hope that that's in the long run what happens, and people start craving more. But it's easy for us to say that because we're in this city.
Yeah, and we're also we're in our bubble of people that.
So I don't know. I'm a hopeful guy. I think hope is I think it was John Green. Yeah, hope is the answer. But John Green said this in a TikTok reply. It was like a comment that asked about something. It was talking about despair and how do you not despair or something like that. And then he replied to the comment, made a TikTok. And then he said that hope is like, and he was citing someone else. So forgive me for not giving the proper word cited. But he was talking about like hope as being a song that never stops playing. We can sometimes get distracted by all the other noise to the point where we can't hear it, but the song is always playing. And that's hope. So even if you don't feel it, it is still there. And I think that we are hopeful people. I am a hopeful person, and so I think I hope that we as a people start to appreciate, I think, and crave and create more art that is human and is coming from people. There's a magic to it. I think that like the reason why I love Past Lives, you love Past Lives, and then someone else might watch Past Lives and be like, it's okay, is because we're different people. And the things that resonate with me don't resonate with other people, and that's like the beauty of it. And that is like,
it's necessary.
It's necessary. I don't know. It's like the crazier things get online and in our world, I think the more I appreciate what I do. Not saying that like, oh, I'm in this like doing this grand, like this huge like effort towards like to humanity. I'm not like I am the pedestal and I'm a leader of the resistance and I am carrying art on my back. That's not what I'm doing at all. Most people that see me are friends that are coming to see shows. But I think that to keep something human alive is a beautiful thing, and we all do it, even if we're not artists. I think everyone makes art, everyone craves art in some way, shape, or form, and I think we just need to be more aware of it. I think we need to be more aware of how we express ourselves artistically, big and small ways, and the more that we are aware of it, the more we can value it. And I think there's that thing that dies when you find out that a video is AI. That's something in all of us that like we need to nurture, and I think it helps be aware of it. And I can only hope that this whole AI stuff that's happening now, this revolution, I can only hope that we as people come out of it craving more real things. And also, I hope that we actually have more artists emerge from this that really are all about that kind of like live, human kind of born expression.
Yeah, the biggest downside that AI has caused thus far in the arts has been the polarization of people really hating people who use it, or people who use it really feeling the judgment or judging the people who don't use it. I think that's the scarier thing to me, because it is about the people.
Yeah.
I'm very anti-AI, but I think it's scarier to me if I was trying to get a graphic design job and then I didn't get it because I'm really anti-AI. Yeah. That to me, I think, is the root of what's making it scary. Yeah. And then also quick callback, love John Green. Love John Green.
The Anthropocene Reviewed, phenomenal.
That was phenomenal.
Collection of essays. I
just read Everything is Tuberculosis. That was fantastic. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Great.
And I have a point with this. It's not just to glaze John Green, though. John Green, if you want to be on my podcast, I do have a podcast. I do not think the medium is the message. I also think that you should separate the art and the artist. No, but the medium is not the message. I think there's so much value within the confines of an Instagram reel. I think you can spend your time reading books and writing letters that don't take you places. And I think that you can watch a TikTok that changes your life because it's actually a 7-minute video essay about something serious that's happening in the news, and TikTok is like having like a cultural reporter on the ground in a million different ways. Swipe to swipe, I can get all of these different viewpoints. I think that the comments section of social media acts as a really fascinating public square sometimes. We have to really draw the boundaries with social media. I do the same thing. I have to hit not interested on, I still have TikTok. I haven't fallen into Instagram Reels, but I have TikTok. But I really try to pack my algorithm into something that serves me well, because it can very quickly become something that's filled with AI or filling you with things that make you very angry or make you less hopeful. And people are very different, and that's a beautiful thing, and we should be surrounded by people that have differing opinions. But if you don't have hope for yourself, in the same way, if you don't have faith in yourself, if you don't feel the hope, you got to be surrounded by hopeful people. You really need to find them. Losing hope, I think, is the scariest thing of them all.
Agreed.
So, unless you feel as though we're missing anything else about your now or your
Oh my gosh, I feel like I spoke too much and didn't ask you enough.
No, it's okay. It's your interview.
I know, but I think we had some conversation. We were in conversation.
This has all been fascinating to me, so I'm pleased, if not to serve you or the podcast or the audience, it served me very well. Good start to my day to have all of this hopeful conversation. what are your plans next?
As far as grad school, I want to finish my PhD. I want to become a good doctor, not the one that sees patients, just the one that thinks a lot. And I just want to continue doing improv. I think that we were talking about art as a creative outlet. I think that this is it for me right now. I hope it is like that for me forever, but my hope for the future is that I just continue to find whatever outlet lets me like express myself and transform and shift into something different, something interesting. I hope to still be interested in people and the world and conversations and understanding people. I hope if I could, I would just continue to do improv forever. Would love to do as much as I can with Broken Couch Improv. It's a great group of people. I would love to continue or really get started with like more Chuprov with Zane. That's really exciting to me. Like I said, it's the thing that really like speaks to my heart. So I'm really hoping to do more of that in the future. And who knows? I just hope that I continue to have fun, make people laugh.
You said something in the pre-interview that I thought was so nice and I've been quoting a lot, which is improv does not need to be anything other than what it is already. Doing it is enough.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to find a way to make it sustainable in your life, but I think what you said was if scratching the creative itch is just making home videos with your kids, that would be enough.
Yeah. I love the amount of improv I do now, or just doing improv, period. But life happens, you grow older, you have more responsibilities, and time gets a little tight. And I'm aware that maybe like I might not live here forever, and I might move to a city that doesn't have an improv scene, or I won't have as much time, and it may be sad. Things end. If everything ends, it's about just being here, present, and grateful that this is happening now. And I hope that it continues for as long as I will enjoy it. But I think it's above improv. It's about being able to scratch that itch. If I have kids one day and I get to do silly home videos with them, I'll do that. If I still get to do improv, I'll do that. If I just get to watch and coach and write, if I get to paint, I believe I can do anything I want. I'm great. I don't think I'm gonna ever be a great painter, but I can be a painter. Not about good or bad. But yeah, I think I know this about myself, that I will always find a way to like scratch that creative itch, and I'm very curious and open to see what that means as I get older and as life happens. I hope to not get jaded as things happen, as I gain and lose people in life. And I'm open to every experience. I think that there's something really interesting about being 25 and doing improv and having my perspectives. I'm curious and hope that I do improv when I'm 35 and see how different that is, how much life I have lived and how that shapes not just the jokes, but the people that I embody on stage and the stories that I'm feeling compelled to tell. It's interesting, it's exciting because I feel like there's more to explore, and I have no idea what that is. And that to me is exciting. That to me is, I'm very hopeful about that.
I would like to ask you if you have 3 things to recommend.
I'm gonna do some. I might do more than 3.
That's okay.
Number 1,
that's good.
because I've been thinking about him this entire time. Hudson Flynn is...
He's gonna be on the pod. He said he would, but that's a busy man. He's hard to track down.
And he is a filmmaker, director, writer. He's like everything, and he's just so talented. And there's a lot of talented people everywhere in LA, in the city. But one thing about Hudson that it just like stuck with me when I got to see him like do a shoot. We did a shoot together. Is how like present he is and how like sensitive he is to the people that are helping him, to his craft. There's something in his eyes. That sounds so weird, but there's something in his eyes that you just like, that is so different and genuine, and like I can tell that he has something to say that is always going to be worth listening to. So I guess my recommendation to people is to look out for Hudson Flynn. who's going to be who already is a phenomenal filmmaker, and we're so lucky to be in this life and in this world at the same time as him. Second, focaccia bread. Listen, it's hard to make focaccia for whatever reason, at least in my kitchen, okay? I have made focaccia so many times, and yesterday was the first time I cracked a focaccia recipe that wasn't horrible.
I'm so proud.
And it
That's
was
a
great.
tough thing.
And that is awesome. Cooking, I love cooking. Baking is like a different art. So shout out focaccia. And I'm gonna open up my letterbox because I saw this, and it's a documentary on YouTube by these two brothers. They were doing kind of like a documentary style thing with their family. They're moving out of their childhood home. It's called When We Move. It's by Jasper Fletcher, Lucas Fletcher. It's called When We Move. It's about these two, they're older brothers. They're moving away from their childhood home. They're kind of like depicting that move and then the first, I think, year in the new house. And they say something so interesting because it was like, it's very weird for us, the two brothers that are older, to see their childhood home gone, like saying goodbye to this, at the same time knowing that for their younger sister, that is gonna be, the new house is gonna be her childhood home, and how weird that is, and how weird it is to now witness that as an outside perspective. And they do that with such like sensitivity and honesty, and it feels like it's a family, and it is a family, but it feels so intimate, and I loved it so much. And shout out to these young filmmakers that did that. Just two more. Number one, Choir of Honest Killers. It's also a poetry book by Buddy Wakefield. Phenomenal work. You can just go our YouTube, Buddy Wakefield. Any of his performance, like live performance poetries, are electrifying and they're beautiful. And then last, a movie, classic but still worth highlighting, Dead Poets Society. What a lovely film. Robin Williams is a gift to the world and forever missed. And the movie is just so lovely. It's about teaching, it's about learning, it's about finding your voice, standing up for what you think is right, growing up in a world that expects you to be a certain way. It is inspiring. It is, to me, a feel-good movie, despite how it may make you feel sometimes. And I love it. Dead Poet Society, shout out. And those are my recommendations. I'm not gonna rank them, but if I were, focaccia is the last. Really like sit with yourself and ask if it's not just easier to just buy focaccia that was made by a professional. That's what I've been asking myself. But besides the focaccia, those three are good recommendations, I think.
Those are all great. That was one of my best lineup of recs that I've heard thus far.
Hell yeah.
And if there's someone, not improv necessarily, but if someone is looking to engage in a pursuit, or is engaging and finding it difficult, or engaging and just is listening, what do you have as advice to give, or words of encouragement?
I think I've said it, and I'll say it again, and I'll expand on it. From Fleabag again, people are all we've got. In all aspects of life, I very much believe this. Hope to believe this 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now. And in improv, there's this thing that I also believe in, that like the answer to all of your problems is in your scene partner, because that's the only other real thing that exists on that stage. On improv, there's nothing on stage. There's just two chairs and the person on stage with you, just trying to figure it out just as much as you do. And have it be stand-up, have it be improv, sketch, writing, like art, music, whatever it is, people. You can always learn, you can always teach, you can always just sit with them. And the answer to anything, I think, is in the people that you know, or the people that you have not met yet. So go meet people. The answers will never come clear. It's not like you're gonna meet someone and they're gonna give you the answer to all of your problems. Despite the fact that I did very much just tell a story with Sean Shapiro, where he literally just dropped that quote about performance and rehearsal that just kind of solved half of my problems. But most times it's just knowing people and understanding people that will get you, that will bring you places that maybe you didn't think you could go or you weren't willing to go. And that, to me, is, I think, the answer to many things. Look to your people, connect with new people, give, take, share, and take it one moment after the other, just like improv. It's a moment at a time, small moment after the other, and
Just
you'll
like
get through
improv.
this. Just like improv. Improv is life. Fuck, improv is
Improv is life.
Fuck.
Improv is life.
Fuck. We got it. We did it.
We did it.
Wow.
Thank you, Gabe, for
Thank
being
you.
on
This is
the hole.
phenomenal.
Thank
This is
you
a
for
great-
being in the hole.
Great project. Love the whole phenomenal hole.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Yeah, this is a great hole to be in. What do you love about being in the hole? And then also, I'm gonna ask, where can we find you?
Yes, what I love about being in the hole, I think that's the most exciting. I hope to always be in the hole. It's like it forces you to try stuff and reinvent and or at least just like search things and be curious, and it ties back to everything that we talked about, like meeting people, understanding people, paying attention, being present, being in the whole, which I think is just being life, like living life is like a huge, beautiful whole. But yeah, like I love that. I think artistically speaking, you can try to make it about life as a whole, but I'm not well suited to be that poetic. But I love that about being the whole. Where you can find me, you can follow at Broken Couch Improv to see what we're up to. You can follow me at Gabe Santos, 2 E's, 2 O's on Instagram, and you can see whenever I'm doing improv, wherever I'm doing it, whenever I'm doing it. Yeah, watch out world for Sophie as well.
And
Phenomenal.
watch out for Broken Couch Improv. Watch out
Couch
for
Improv.
Roth and Santos.
Roth and Santos
When is
also.
your
Chuprov, Roth and Santos are doing a Chuprov competition, which I don't even know what to compete. I'm just happy to be on stage, but we're doing a Chuprov competition May 14th. This is the preliminaries, and then if we pass, we'll get more. But also just watch out for Roth and Santos. We're trying to put some shows individually, just us, and yeah, watch out for that. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see if we have any dates for that, and it's a very special show. Every show is very special, moment in time. So come check us out if we have any dates whenever you see this.
Improv is life.
Improv is life.
Improv is life.